Hey y'all. So today is going to be, I believe, is episode 5 or 6 of that from Surviving to Thriving series. And this one, I started talking a little bit about it yesterday, but this one is going to be titled Opposition is the Announcement of the Promise, or Opposition is the Announcement of what God is doing. But we're probably going to shorten it to Promise. So, this stems from sometimes when God leads us somewhere, or when God gives us an opportunity, or when God allows us to meet a person that he has said that is supposed to be somebody in our life, sometimes we experience opposition. Sometimes we experience miscommunication, delays, just issues that will make you say, you know what, this cannot be God, because what comes from God is supposed to be easy. I've talked about this before, but I don't know who told us that things that come from God is supposed to be easy. I would say things that come from God are things that we will probably experience the most opposition with, because the enemy knows that it's from God, and he doesn't want us to inherit it, because he knows what God intends to do through us from that opportunity, from that person, from that relationship, whatever it is. The enemy knows some of what God is going to do, right? The enemy may know, oh, God wants her to marry him, or him to marry her, because they're going to have a ministry together. He knows a little bit, and what he knows is enough for him to not want to go through it. He don't know all the businesses and all the people God intends for y'all to help. He just knows y'all are supposed to go into ministry, so he don't want y'all to touch each other. So guess what? You're gonna be fighting with that person a lot. You're gonna be having an issue with that person a lot. I could even say my job opportunity that I have here, the opposition that we experienced at the beginning of it. And again, it definitely stemmed from some miscommunication on my end, but my manager and I were both mirroring each other with having harsh judgments and really moving fast to make a decision. And I told y'all that God had led me to, I believe, Numbers chapter 27, I believe. It's when Balaam had called for Balak, or Balak had called for Balaam to curse the Israelites. This is when he was trying to curse them the third time. And so I think it's in verse 13, God says, and whoever you bless, I will bless, and whoever you curse, I will curse. And God was telling me then it does not matter what anybody has set up for you or what anybody wants to do regarding you. When I say that you are going to be blessed, you are going to be blessed. And when they say you are going to be cursed, I am still going to bless you, and I am going to curse them. So we're not going to worry about what somebody else is saying or how somebody else is coming up against what I placed you in. You're not going to be concerned about what somebody says about where I placed you. You're not going to be concerned about the opposition or even the opinions. You don't deserve to be here. You shouldn't be here. You don't have the experience. You don't have the qualifications. You don't have the personality. You don't have the looks. Whatever it is, you're not going to worry about that, because I placed you there. And so you're going to inherit the promise. You're going to experience what I have, but it does not mean that it's supposed to be light. And it makes me think about Joseph. Joseph's dream that God gave him was that his parents and his siblings were going to be bowing down to him at one day. What happened? They ended up bowing down to him. What about all the hell that Joseph went through before he ever experienced them bowing down to him? But then think about all the experience and the knowledge and the wisdom he obtained along the journey that helped him when he got into that position. Think about everything he learned. Even David was one of those guys where he was such a good commander that people just dropped what they were doing just to follow him and to be added into the army. I don't even see too many times where it says that David sought people to be in his army. People would go where David was because he was so anointed, and because he was such a good commander, and he was such a good person, and they loved the things that he was doing. Regardless of all the hell that he went through to get there, people loved him and people followed him. Right? But he experienced a lot of battles. He experienced a lot of fighting. And when I'm talking about opposition, let me just be clear. I'm not talking about opposition that happens from the things that you do. I'm not talking about results of your consequences of what you've done. I'm not talking about that. So when David and Bathsheba experienced the death of their child, I'm not talking about nothing like that. When Jonah decided not to do what God wanted him to do, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about while you are doing everything that God has told you to do, and you are going where God is telling you to go, but you experience opposition, but you experience things coming up at you left and right. Opposition is the announcement of that promise. Opposition is the announcement that is letting you know your promise is near. You are on the right track. Keep going. See, the devil wants you to see opposition as a sign of this is too difficult, so maybe this is not for me. That's how the enemy wants you to see it. God wants you to see it as this opposition is nothing but an obstacle that I'm supposed to overcome. And it's going to be the stepping stone in the next thing that God wants me to do. Everything that I learn right now, everything that I obtain from this opposition is going to help me when I get where I'm going. And that just speaks to me about something else that I feel like God is doing in my life. But I'm going to tell you all about that later. But I feel like God is about to open a door that I've been asking him for. I feel like he's about to open a door that I've been asking him for. And it's going to come from somebody else's opposition against me. But opposition does not stop what God is trying to do in your life. And that's the message. Opposition, people having their hands, people having free will, and people coming up against what God wants for you, it does not stop what God is going to do. They are only a stepping stone. You are, what they say, God says your enemies' heads, you will be able to tread upon their heads. Their heads are going to be stepping stones. You just going to walk up their heads like a ladder. Like a set of stairs, you're going to walk up their heads and you're going to do exactly what God wants you to do. And not only are you going to do what God wants you to do, but the same things that oppose you, or even the same people that oppose you, they're going to have to bow down to you. They're going to be helping you. They're going to help you get where God is taking you, because they don't have a say in what God is doing. They don't have a say in what God is doing in your life. So it don't matter that you don't like me. It don't matter that you wanted to take back my job offer. It don't matter that you don't think I'm good enough for your son. It don't matter that you don't think I'm good enough for your daughter. It don't matter that this loan rejected me. It don't matter that you as a lender think that my credit score is too low. It don't matter that you as a lender says I don't have enough in my reserves. Opposition is only setting me up for what God wants to do in my life. And so I just want to encourage you guys, anybody who may be experiencing opposition specifically in areas or specifically in your journey when you know that you are following what God has told you to do. I'm not talking about nothing else other than when you know that you are being obedient to God, but you are experiencing opposition. Let it be that it is announcing the promise and that it is announcing and letting you know that you are on the right track. I love you guys, and I will see y'all on my next video.